RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, what the hell is going on besides America's stepping into... Well, we took one more step to being great again. So that's what's going on. Hello, my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, and thank you so much for hanging out. We meet here at this, well, we have our Friday night regularly scheduled Tarabuster tomorrow at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we do a show during the week, and this is our show. It's a little bit more casual. It's a little bit more loosey-goosey. There's Booty! She'll make an appearance now and then. And I'm glad she's over there because she's kind of getting on my nerves. She is the show grip. Like we gave her that role and she's taking it to heart. All she does is chew on the wires, pull the wires, fuss with the wires. You might hear her. There's a wire and she keeps kind of picking it up and dropping it. She loves wires. I gotta be careful with that. I should do something about that. I mean, she's not in danger, don't worry. Nothing has happened. She's fine. She's happy. She just likes wires. I think they probably remind her of a snake. Or she's trying to make this show do something about the production value of the show, which, as you can see, we can certainly use it. So thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry I couldn't do the show yesterday. It was a very long day for me. I was going to do it yesterday, and yesterday was the day of Trump's third indictment. So, and there was so much going on, but I just couldn't do it. I had too much other things I had to do, and then it was too late to even get the show off the ground. So I figured, all right, let's just do it tomorrow. So anyway, and you never know what's going to happen within the day, because each day we have more unbelievable assaults on decency, dignity, and democracy to talk about. So yes, thank you for hanging out. I see the chat room has some of our regular Tarabusters. Nice to see you. Jim, thank you so much for your super chat. And thank you for being a moderator in the chat room. So if you'd like to hang out, come on over to youtube.com/cfachannel/Tarabuster to hang out in the greatest chat room in American history and meet some of your fellow patriots that are sharing this time. And a lot of times I'll call it the last days of the American Republic. But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling hopeful right now. Oh, see? That's Booty. She's pulling on the cord that plugs this light in. Boudica. I might have to do something about that. I might have to. Where's Junior? He is in the kitchen. I gave them some food, so they were eating. Not that I didn't feed them early. I did. I fed them, and then I fed them a little snack, and they're eating that. Boudica, you're a pain in my ass. Stop it. I don't. She doesn't know what that means yet. So yeah. Okay, where do we begin? I might have to. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I was trying to get her distracted with another toy, but then she went back to the wires. So let's see if she pulls this light out. I'm gonna have to get up and do something about it. I have to, put the light back in because it'll be too dark. So, but anyway, in the meantime, yes, Booty is having a good life. She's living her best life. I'm happy about it. I was just singing her a song to the tune of, what was it? What's that song? The national anthem. Sweet land. I was calling Booty, sing of thee, or whatever. I'm not going to inflict it on you. What was I saying? Yeah, I can't remember. It was kind of my booty, 'tis of thee, something like that. Yeah, whatever. She was enjoying it. The way she was looking at me, like, probably like you're looking at me now. So, okay, let's, I don't even know where to dive in. It's incredible. And, people, I guess I could start here because I've been hearing a lot of, like this morning, for example, I've shared before that I watch Morning Joe in the mornings for the most part. I'll get up, I'll get my coffee, and I'll just sit there, I'll put on Morning Joe, and either sometimes I hate watch it, other times they've been, I agree with them, but it is corporate media, of course. I agree with their loathing of the Republican Party, but anyway, whatever. And they are using the term fascism, which is appropriate and necessary at the moment. So anyway, in this morning they had on a few historians because we're in this historical moment where a president has never been indicted. See, now Trump's been indicted for things he's done before he was in office, during his time in office, and after he left office. So it's about damn time, frankly, because he's a crook. He's been a crook his whole life, and I guess, I don't know, he must be shocked that it might be catching up to him. He's been a petty little bitch his entire life. That's why he's been able to get away with things. But then when you up the ante and because you are a grifter and a filthy con man and a liar, and you are not man enough to embrace and accept and cherish the uniquely American peaceful transfer of power. Well, it's not uniquely American anymore, but it was at the time when the United States was formed. It was kind of one of the first linchpins on which we live in this modern world of where democracy is commonly understood as the most benevolent form, or the most desirable form of government, and that is unique throughout our recorded history. Throughout recorded history, we've been, human beings have been under the thumb of intergenerational aristocracy and monarchy for the most part. And so the United States really is that grand experiment. And what really gets on my nerves, and I've talked about it a lot, is that, the Republicans, of course, they have, they don't understand history. They don't like our history. I mean, they say that we don't like our history because we're trying to have that much needed conversation about race. That is the mark of patriotism, when you want to ensure that your country, as a constitutionally limited democratic republic, survives. And you'll do whatever it takes, and including have uncomfortable conversations, which Republicans just can't handle. They don't want to talk about it. And they would rather have a con man, a so-called billionaire, and white man at the pinnacle of power, because then he saves them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. And, that's the kind of world they want to live in. This is, some of them even say it out loud now, like Nick Fuentes. We've played clips of him and Nick Fuentes is the Nazi that had dinner at Maramoron with the con man. So, and also it just came out that perjury Traitor Green had Nick Fuentes on her payroll. So, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. And thank you, Matt, for your super chat. If it's the fourth time, is it really unprecedented? Yeah. Well, I think it's third. It's just the third. Right. It is not unprecedented anymore. I mean, he's been, how many charges is it? Like 75 charges at this point. He's filth. He's disgusting. He hates America. I mean, this is what it's about. He can't, just like the Republicans, he cannot function in a free democratic society. That's why he praises dictators and he admires them. Yeah, he'll say, what did he say about Kim Jong-un? I'm just going to lower this because we don't need this right now. He said, when they, he's a smart cookie, Kim Jong-un, and you should see it. This is what he was telling these scumbags on Fox News, that when he says boo and they all jump to attention. Let me see if I have that. It's a disgrace, and the fact that anyone votes for a Trump, they should be ashamed of themselves. That really is the only conversation left to have. And one of the things that made me feel somewhat hopeful, again, that America, as a constitutionally limited democratic republic, might actually survive, is Trump's indictment. For January 6th. I mean, it's one thing to be indicted for being the filthy, disgusting sexual predator rapist that he is, and then also stealing our classified documents, our secrets, our national secrets, so he could sell to the Saudis or sweeten the pot when he's negotiating for some tacky golf tournament. But then there's a whole other ball game to finally be held accountable for trying to usurp democracy. And the fact that he's gotten away with this long is sickening. Of course, all of the whining and the crying about why are they doing it now? It's either too soon or too late. Well, the fact is he ran for office. He announced as early as he did because he knew he was going to be indicted. And he hoped that being in the so-called, being a candidate would stop Merrick the Meek from pursuing it. And it just might have, frankly, if he hadn't appointed Jack Smith, who's not kidding around. Thank God. Thank goodness that Jack Smith recognizes that it is that indicting this scumbag and holding him accountable for the crimes against this country is a patriotic imperative. It's not, these filthy Republicans are like, oh, it's just so divisive. I will pardon Trump, they're saying. Of course, all the wannabes who want to be the president. Like, who asked for Tim Scott to be the president? Who asked for Vivek, what's his name? Ramaswamy, whatever. I don't remember his name. And no one is sitting around like, wow, these people are so impressive that they should become the president? Really? Why? They're all disgusting. And this Republican Party is irredeemable. And that's one thing we should thank the filthy con man for. Thank him for speeding up the demise of the GOP fascist death cult that receives fewer votes, that represents fewer people, and has a minority ideology that nobody wants. Nobody but morons and democracy loathers want this. But so on Morning Joe, they had some historians. Michael Beschloss, is that how you pronounce his name? Beschloss? I can't remember how to pronounce it. And me and pronunciation. Sometimes it's hard. Words are hard. And names are even harder sometimes. Why can't you just have a normal name like Tara Devlin? Easy. Or Boudica. So, anyway, I'm only kidding. And then, who else did they have? That other guy that's always on. I can't remember his name. Oh, whatever. He's a historian. They keep saying, this is a solemn moment. This is a time of reflection, that we shouldn't be celebrating this. Are you kidding me? We shouldn't be celebrating. No. Give me an effing break. Come on. We should be ecstatic that finally the laws apply to the con man too. And give me a break with the stupid memo in the Justice Department, apparently, that you can't indict or hold a president accountable for his crimes, his or her. Give me a break. Some stupid memo standing in the way of not having a monarchy, and this is the problem. If we are a nation of laws, then we shouldn't have a carve out for one effing job, for a job. If it was good enough for George Washington, it's good enough for the stinking con man. All right? But, of course, George Washington wasn't committing crimes while in office, except, crimes against humanity when holding 300 slaves. Or enslaved people. Oops, wait. I just spilled some of my coffee on my keyboard. And, but, that's what also pisses me off about the con man, is that, he's such a piece of dirt that you think about George Washington, the father of this country, and all his flaws. He was a man of contradictions, that's for sure. But he also understood that he was framing that this role of the presidency, that he was framing it for future generations. And the United States, in its infancy as a country, there was still that tension. Is it possible for a republic to survive? I mean, we're still in that question. We're still answering that question. And is it possible for the republic to survive? And and many people feared that the office of the presidency in itself was a monarch in waiting. Some actually called it the fetus of monarchy. That was the presidency. So it's kind of, to me, it's interesting why, for example, the founders would give some monarchical powers to the office of the presidency, like, for example, a pardon, the power of pardon, and which, of course, the con man abused and also tried to sell, according to Rudy Giuliani. He was going around offering pardons to people, saying that he would get them pardons for $1 million, that he would split with the filthy, disgusting, tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man with the fake university and the vitamin scam. So, anyway, if this is supposed to be a solemn moment, no, it's not. We should be ecstatic, I'm ecstatic that finally there might be some accountability. And it's not, people, I've had filthy, disgusting, cultist Trumpanzees contact me and say things like, you have Trump derangement syndrome, they've told me. Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is simply patriotism, frankly. It's no derangement. It's having eyes and having knowledge of what he does. So Macumber's Blue Eye on the chat says, power to pardon is a check and balance. Yeah, I could see that too. I see your point. I don't know the whole conversation, let's say, that took place around that, the founders' discussions around giving the presidency the power of the pardon. I should look that up. I will. I'm just writing it down, actually, so I'll be more informed. But if, like anything, if it's given to someone without moral scruples, without any integrity or decency or dignity or honor, and someone who thinks that greed is the only reason to get out of bed in the morning, because you can feed your rapacious black hole of greed, it's dangerous. So, well, anyway, which is why there shouldn't be a memo in the Justice Department where one position in the United States can get away with crimes because you can't hold them accountable. But I also see the point where for example, the Republicans, this is how they operate. Everything is tit for tat. So, of course, now they're going after Joe Biden. They want to impeach him, and everything is a big nothing burger. So, and this is what they do. You impeached Nixon, so we're going to impeach Clinton. Oh, you impeached Trump because he committed high crimes and misdemeanors. It wasn't a willy-nilly impeachment. Did I say willy-nilly twice already? He was committing high crimes and misdemeanors. He was committing high crimes. First of all, the first crime was using taxpayer money, which the founders gave the Congress the power of the purse, other than the presidency. So, and also gave the Congress the power to declare war, which is another power that this government, it seems to have conceded to the presidency. So, but when the Congress decrees or whatever, passes a law, that's not a decree, I should say, but passes a law that says, or in the budget, which passes as a law, so to speak, gives funding to Ukraine so they can fight Putin. They can fight the impending invasion of a anti-democratic dictator. Then Trump says, "I want you to do me a favor, though." You can't. I'm sorry. Taxpayer money that was set aside or that was put to save to save another democratic country from a autocratic takeover, like we did in the 20th century. But that funding set aside, or just for Ukraine to battle the filthy con man's, I guess, hero. I mean, it's just so disgusting. We know that Trump. I was thinking about it today, about his tweets to Putin. Oh, can Putin be my best friend? It's so embarrassing. And you talk about having no dignity. But anyway, he gets on the phone with the Ukrainian president and says, "I want you to do me a favor, though." Right? As a condition. And we remember what the favor was. It wasn't to hold an investigation or launch an investigation against Joe Biden's business. Well, it was Burisma, right? I want you to do me a favor. He wanted the Ukrainians to announce an investigation against Joe Biden and his son Hunter, not to actually carry it out. He just wanted to give this illusion of corruption, which, this is what Republicans do. It's the same thing that we see here in regard to January 6th, where Trump said to various secretaries of state that just tell them you recalculated and leave the rest to me. Tell them that the election was stolen and leave the rest to me and the Republicans, who have absolutely no integrity. So, for example, let me just show you. We're speaking about the Ukrainian, the situation where when Trump was impeached, and that he should have been impeached. Of course, he should have been impeached for that. Now, say all we say about the Democrats. If the Democrats did that, I wouldn't be sitting here saying that that's cool, that's okay. You can use taxpayer money as your own personal bribery slush fund. No, that's the difference between normal people and Republicans. Because it's all about, for Republicans, it's all about their team, you know? It's all about power and ultimately destroying democracy, and by any means necessary. This is why it's been so hard for them to break away from the con man, because he's just a means to an end for them. They could have there were so many opportunities to leave the con man in the dust. And if that filthy party, if all of their grifting little Trumpanzee minions followed Trump, whatever. If you love your country, you don't follow a fascist. You don't give power. Again, and that's the other thing. They know who Trump is. They know what he is. And still they want to put him in the Oval Office? Give me a break. And they're lying. The lies just never stop. That's what gets me insane. And they're lying again, of course. What else is new about this latest indictment? They keep saying, here's one of the lies, that they're saying that Trump is being indicted for freedom of speech. He's being indicted for his speech. Joe Biden's indicting him for his speech. First of all, it's not Joe Biden indicting Trump. But, of course, given that the Republicans are nefarious and they project their inherent criminality on others, and for example, in regard to Hunter Biden and the deals or whatever that the Republicans are like, oh, because they're trying to make. Here's the other thing, they're literally trying to say that Trump's this latest indictment is because I'm sorry, because the Democrats are trying to distract from Hunter Biden. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, because nobody cares about Hunter Biden except the morons. I don't care about Hunter Biden. Do you? Does he matter? He doesn't have a role in government. He's not in Joe Biden's cabinet or anything. He has nothing to do with the functioning of government. If you want to have a conversation about how the sons or just the children in general, the sons and daughters of powerful and connected politicians get cushy jobs on boards of directors, that's another story. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Donald effing Trump Jr. Let's talk about goddamn Lauren Boebert's husband, who has zero experience, and he's on a board of an oil company making $500,000 a year to do nothing for a no-show job. So, come on. Same thing. Who cares? They keep saying how, Hunter Biden is not, he doesn't, what do you know what he does anyway? People get jobs on boards of directors for various reasons. Maybe because they have connections, of course. So that's a conversation we should have. Fine. I'm not for that. I don't believe, I don't believe in that bullshit. And I also don't believe billionaires should exist. And last I looked, the Biden family are not billionaires. So what kind of corrupt dealings are they dealing with? All I can see is Jared Kushner getting $2 billion and nobody explains why. I see him getting bailed out when he was in government, when he had every job in the government, from Middle East peace to solving the opioid crisis. Jared Kushner got what did he get? Oh, it wasn't the $2 billion then, but his bad 666 Fifth Avenue deal, which was a money pit, he was bailed out by the Saudis, curiously enough, while using our military to form a blockade of Qatar, and then flexing the muscle. This is what they do. This is what Republicans do. So they project their criminality on other people who are, I'm not saying, like, I was not a big Joe Biden cheerleader. I wanted Bernie. We all know that. But give me a break, really. If Joe Biden was corrupt, we would talk about it. If he was having, getting money from me, I don't even know what the hell they're saying. I can't even keep up because every time they have a hearing, it's a nothing burger. And I'm only using that phrase because they always talk about it when it's not a nothing burger. They just say, oh, it's a nothing burger that Trump used taxpayer money to extort a foreign government into announcing an investigation on a political rival. Oh, just a big nothing burger. Except it's not a nothing burger. It's a something. But conversely, Republicans waste everybody's time with this bullshit, like they just did having another hearing about Joe Biden's business dealings with the supposedly supposed to be this. It was supposed to be a blockbuster. It was gonna burn the house down. Everybody was gonna, I don't know. We would all see the Matrix, and finally the Biden crime family. You realize that the only reason they do this is because the Republican, it's all about whataboutism, and I know you are, but what am I? And they know they're grifting, disgusting, tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man is a con man, and so they have to project it out, and it's a way to hide in plain sight. Oh, I'm not a con man, you are. The Biden crime. Let me see. So Joe Biden he routinely releases his tax returns. Let's see. What were Joe Biden's last tax returns? Let's see. Or is that the way you say it? Let's see. Biden and Harris released their tax returns. Unlike Trump, like we know, and the years that we have of Trump, some of them he received a bailout, of course, because in the years that we know, it's not pretty. We paid more. All of us paid. I mean, me alone. If you paid anything, you paid more than Trump in taxes. One year, he paid $750 in federal taxes. He's a dirtbag. He's a goddamn grifter. Another year, he was the biggest single loser. He was the biggest loser. The single somebody had to be. So the American unfortunately, he's an American, who lost more money than any other American. So he received, millions of dollars in our money. So we paid for him, for that parasite. So he can go around and rape people and come up with scams that separate people from their money. That's all he is. He's a goddamn dirtbag. And every time he dodges a tax, I mean, if you're a legitimate billionaire, you pay your goddamn taxes. But he thinks he's like Al Capone or something. Oh, that makes me smart. No, that makes you a parasite. And that's what Hillary Clinton should have said when they were having that debate. And he's like, and she brought up that he doesn't pay taxes, and that we know of. That's why he wouldn't release them, because he's a dirtbag. Oh, take your word for it, right, grifter? And when he said, oh, well, that makes me smart, Hillary, of course, began to explain how, well, every tax that you dodge, that means that soldiers don't get their body armor and children don't get school supplies and blah, blah, blah. But what she should have just simply said is, I wish they would, first of all, this is why I wish the Democrats would take my advice in communications and simply say, well, that makes you a parasite. You don't have to explain. Everybody knows what a parasite is. That doesn't make you a patriot. That makes you a parasite. If you're a billionaire, a so-called billionaire, and you don't pay taxes. But they always like to point out those who are poor who don't pay taxes. They want people on the low end of the totem pole to pay more. Oh, because they apparently don't have skin in the game. This is another thing that they say. You don't have skin in the game if you're not paying taxes. Well, what does Trump have? But it's a way they kick down on poor people who do pay taxes. You pay poor people pay taxes just by living. You pay taxes when you purchase things, but if, because if you're on the lower end of the totem pole, you get the earned income tax credit, which the Republicans are always trying to destroy, because billionaires like Trump need more. They need more. But throughout our history, most Americans, normal people, patriotic people, understand that progressive taxation is the only. Well, what did Teddy Roosevelt said? Progressive taxation is the only American value. We try to explaining that to a grifter who doesn't want to pay taxes, who thinks that it makes him smart. Anyway, all right, I'm going off on a tangent that I didn't mean to go down a road I wasn't planning on. But for example, I just want to play some of these lies that Republicans are going on about. Let's see, for the Trump indictment, which one, right? I know it's hard to keep up. They say that, here's what they're saying. So they're lying about they lie about everything, of course, but they're saying that Trump is being targeted for freedom of speech, free speech. And of course that's bullshit, because right on the fucking front page of the indictment, which one? The January 6th indictment, Jack Smith lays it right out. He says that, well, let's see. Where is it? Let's see. And this is what gets me insane about Republicans. You know what it is? It's because they count on the stupidity of the people they are duping, because they know that they're not going to read the indictment. And the indictment, I suggest everyone read it. It's incredible. It's easily digestible. And it's pretty much, I can't wait for the movie, frankly, But let's see. Where is it? What does... I'm using this program now. What does Jack Smith... What does the indictment... It's right on the first page. Say about lying. Let's see. Well, hold on a second. Let me just open it. Indictment. See, I have Trump. I Googled, oh, not just Google. I kept the Trump indictment. I downloaded it as a PDF. But now there's a few Trump indictments. Look at Booty. In the meantime, she's such a bully. Look at her. She likes to play. She's just playing. They play at murder, though. Booty, what are you doing? She's always... Well, she's just trying to, like, assert her dominance. And I appreciate that about her. But right about now, her and Ray start chasing each other, and she's trying to play with Francis over here. Trump indictment. Am I spelling it right? It's not coming up. Come on. I know I should have these things open. This is why I need a real producer. If you can become a patron, maybe one day we can get a real producer. What the fuck? I had everything. Well, let me play a video while I look for this. So, they keep saying that Trump is being indicted for freedom of speech, like out of a third world country. This is what they keep saying, and it's really pissing me off. Here's Greg Gutfeld.
Gutfeld, do you have any thoughts as we go around the Thursday?
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of my sketches? When I'm bored, I will draw men in hats. I'm sure there's a psychiatrist out there that can tell me what's wrong with me.
It's supposed to be funny.
I kind of, I look at this stuff and I honestly, I just see, again, it's lawfare. That's all this is. We're not supposed to understand this. This is supposed to be out of our hands, out of our control. Donald Trump is probably one of the most consequential leaders of our lifetime.
Really?
He was outside the box.
Because he's outside the box. That's why we hate him. Because he operates outside the box. Yeah, we've never had a open grifter, sexual predator, con man who lies as easily as breathing. Yeah, that's true. But this is not why he's been indicted. He's indicted because he fomented an insurrection. Because he tried to hold on to power illegally. That's why. It's so... Anyway, let's continue.
He's not one of the kids he's not one of them. He's the outsider, so this is just payback, and it's going to elevate him even more. And it's just not as fun as the other topics we were going to do.
Yeah, the other topics were great.
There was a bear in China, Dana.
In a man suit.
In a man suit.
With a little butt.
Being an outsider. Wait, hold on.
But the actual charges you can't take seriously. They are feelings masquerading as facts. They're opinions trying to be passed off as crimes.
Yeah, don't take it seriously.
It's garbage,
don't read it.
Dressed up with a legal thesaurus. And it's criminalizing thoughts, and it's criminalizing speech. You have every right to think an election might be.
Yeah, in fact, that's what it says right here. It says the defendant... Right on the first page. Well, actually, the second page. It said the defendant had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and even claim falsely that there had been outcome determinative fraud during the election and that he had won. He was also entitled to formally challenge the results of the election through lawful and appropriate means, such as seeking recounts or audits of the popular vote in states or filing lawsuits challenging ballots and procedures. Indeed, in many cases, the defendant did pursue these methods of contesting the election results. His efforts to change the outcome in any state through recounts, audits, or legal challenges were uniformly unsuccessful. So it doesn't matter how many times you will read this to them, read the actual indictment. Just take their word for it, because Fox News, they have already paid nearly $2 billion for lying and counting. Or $1 billion, excuse me. I'm thinking of Jared Kushner's bribe. But it doesn't stop them from lying. Clearly, they keep on lying. It's like, it's the same thing. The other day we played a clip of Gutfeld talking about how in Man's Search for Meaning, a book he never read, clearly, that it's it made he was saying that in Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl posited that you survived the concentration camps if you were useful, which is something that, of course, Man's Search for Meaning never said, and Viktor Frankl never said, and it made it very obvious to me that Gutfeld never read the book. He just knew the title and maybe heard something about it and got it completely wrong, and counts on others. He counts on the Fox News audience. He counts on their stupidity and their intellectual incuriosity. The same thing here. Just keep lying. Just tell them, right? Like Trump, tell them that the election was fraudulent and leave the rest to me. Gutfeld lying. Like, he's not the only one that's saying this. They're all saying it. Tell them that they're criminalizing free speech and leave the rest to me. Even though it's right on the first page, Trump had the right to lie. That's not what this indictment is about. He is a filthy liar, and he can lie. So we're not indicting him for lying. We're indicting him for actions. You could lie all day. Nobody, no one is coming after him for having speech. But guess what? Speech has consequences, too. You start carrying out your nefarious crimes. I guess that's I repeat. You could talk about, it's like somebody robbing a bank and then coming or giving a teller a note that says, "Give me all your money," or whatever in the drawer. And then the cops come and arrest you, and you're like, "Oh, well, I'm just speaking. You're arresting me for free speech. Don't I have the right to free speech?" It's unreal. But what's worse is the dupes that believe them. And they know that. And this is the thing. They count on the stupidity of the stupidity of the Fox News viewer who will not read the indictment. Right? That's what DeSantis said, right? He said, I haven't read it. He condemned it, though, vehemently. But he hasn't read it. Yeah. So just say whatever the hell you want. Tell them the election was stolen and leave the rest to me. And the Republicans. Doesn't matter, because they know that the dummies will never pick up the goddamn indictment and read it. Just read you don't have to read the whole thing. Read the first couple of pages. He's not indicted for lying. If that were the case, he'd never get out of court. He lies all day, all night, like breathing. He's a disgusting grifter. And frankly, One of the other good things, because I've said it, I keep saying it, and I will continue to say it. And one day we'll be at that point where those who spoke of or supported this con man, who supported Trump, will only speak of it in shamed whispers. We're one step closer to that. Don't you feel it? It's the truth. One day in the not too distant future, those who supported the con man Trump will only speak of it in shamed whispers. It's happening. Traitors support traitor Trump is the bottom line. He's a grifter. And trust me, when that day comes, I'm telling you, mark these words too. The Fox News fascists, Gutfield, and the rest of them they will all downplay their obsequiousness, their lickspittle natures. They'll all downplay it. Oh, I was never a big supporter. I liked Tim Scott. I like Uncle Tim. I was for DeSantis. I like that fascism. I like my fascism served hard up my, whatever. Like, what's his name? Like Ethan Schmidt likes it, hard and, Ethan Schmidt, whose Grindr profile was out, the anti-gay one who went out there saying he was hunting gays, but then I'm sure he's still doing it, but his Grindr profile was exposed. No surprise. So anyway, what does it say here? Let's see. The defendant had a right, of course. Yeah, he had a right to lie. Yeah, and I guess if you're stupid enough to believe him, you got that right too. You have a right to be a stupid dumbass. No one's taking you to court for that. We'd never go home.
Rigged or fixed.
Wait, hold on. Let me roll it back a little.
And it's criminalizing speech. You have every right to think an election might be rigged or fixed. I mean, is every institution perfect?
No. And no one's saying you don't have the right. But anyway, so shortly after Election Day, this is what the indictment says, the defendant also pursued unlawful means of discounting legitimate votes and subverting the election results. In doing so, the defendant perpetrated 3 criminal conspiracies. A conspiracy to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, deceit, to impair, obstruct, and defeat the lawful federal government function by which the results of the presidential election are collected, counted, and certified by the federal government in violation of U.S. Code 18-371, whatever. B, a conspiracy to corruptly obstruct and impede the January 6th congressional proceeding at which the collected results of the presidential election are counted and certified in violation of 18 U.S.C. Code 1512. And a conspiracy against the right to vote and to have one's vote counted. So, which is absolutely galling. I'm glad that Jack Smith put that in there, because that's what they did. And I remember, I think, talking about it on the show here, the absolute offense of these fucking fascists trying to usurp our vote, as usual. You see, people who love their country, the patriots, they accept the peaceful transfer of power. The election was not stolen, but Republicans won't let go of a lie. That's for sure. They never stop lying, because that's all they have. And if you love your country, is this how you behave? Is this what you do? Now, I just can't, I don't know if Greg Gutfeld, is he this stupid? Or is he this evil? You know, it's either or. I know that Tucker Carlson is evil because I know that he knows better. He knows that Trump is a liar. But he hates democracy. He wants an authoritarian country. That's why he promotes it constantly. So he knows what he's doing. So he's a liar. I just wonder. I know that perjury trader Green is dumb. She probably doesn't know any better. I mean, I put her on the side of she's not that swift. And she really believes it. I mean, this is the one who thought that Jewish space lasers were responsible for California wildfires. And Sandy Hook was a false flag. I mean, this is who she is. Lauren Band from the Bowling Alley Bobert. She's another one, I believe. To me, I believe she's this dumb. She probably believes that Trump was, robbed or whatever. Or maybe not. I don't know. Even it did take her 4 times to pass the GED. But, Greg Gutfeld, are you this? I mean, you got to be evil, because to lie to your audience incessantly and turn them into assholes who are going to get themselves arrested. But in the meantime, not everybody's going to get arrested, of course. Not everybody will be motivated enough to get off their cholesterol, riddled asses and do something. But they'll be upset and agitated. They will mistrust their country. They will turn their anger on their fellow Americans. They will be absolutely unbearable. And that's what we got. We have to put up with these people. We're the ones that have to live out here with these idiots. And it's really tedious to live with these freaks. Constantly. Like for example, this dude. I'm sure you saw. He's a racist that got caught in the act of being himself. He had a car accident. His name is Chuck Lago. And he hit a woman who is Vietnamese, and English is not her first language. So here's the wonderful Chuck Lago.
No, you hit my car.
I know I did. You're not speak English, okay?
What? You hit my car and I need some insurance now.
I don't have my insurance card.
You don't have insurance card?
See the white privilege
But
there.
I need the card and the
I don't have it.
I need the driver license. You hit like behind my car.
Shut up. Fucking dumb gook.
See that? He
Oh my God.
just
I've got
called her a racial slur. But this is what do you want to bet? He's a Trumpanzee. But this is what I'm talking about. These people, they are unleashed. This is what Trump has done to this country. Racists have always been here, of course, but he's given them permission to come out of the closet and act like this. So when they're 100% in the wrong, so this guy hit this woman's car from behind. They were at a red light, and he hit her. I mean, he's completely in the wrong, and he hit her from behind. Apparently, he had been drinking. And she's trying to get insurance information from him. And he's just berating her. Speak English. He's calling her racial slurs. Who taught these people how to behave like this? It's the Republican way. What do you want to bet? He's a Trumpanzee.
go get my daughter.
Doesn't matter. You hit my car.
He's drunk.
Big fucking deal.
You hear
Can you
me?
believe this?
No, you hit my car.
I know I did. You're not speak English, okay?
What? You hit my car and I need some insurance now.
I don't have my insurance card.
Oh, well, right?
You don't have insurance
Progressive.
card?
Progressive.
But I need the card and
The
I don't
arrogance.
have it.
I need the driver license.
What does it take to act like a normal person? Just act decent. But it's too much for these people. Because they've been given permission to be ugly. And, nobody, that's the American dream now. Just to be as disgusting and backward as you are and never ever change. Never learn anything. Never put yourself in the shoes of others. Never feel empathy. All that's weak. All right? We did it the other day on the show. Playing videos of, what's her name? Candace Owens and that rapist guy. What's his name? Andrew Tate, yeah. And talking about how, feelings, F your feelings, and this is why women shouldn't be in government, too many feelings. Oh, you shouldn't care about anybody. That's the point of humanity, right? You should, this is Ayn Rand kind of ideology. But this is what they are. Unfit. Absolutely unfit. But
You hit like behind my car.
Shut up.
shut up. Yeah, well, he's 100% in the wrong. And he's drunk, too. They had him on video. He went to pick up his daughter. He was drinking in a bar. And then he gets behind the wheel and he hits somebody because he's drunk. And he just acts like a dick. Anyway, that's who they are. So it's not about nobody is telling Trump you can't continue to lie. Anyway, but they continue to lie. Here's some more. The lies just keep on coming. Where is it? Oh, like, for example, this bitch just released another video today. Here we go.
This is a guy who's already won. He won in 2016. He won even bigger in 2020.
Stops.
All that January 6th was a staged riot to cover up the fact that they certified a fraudulent election. And I agree with a lot of what Cash said about impeachment. If we just go back and deal with this fraudulent.
Oops, wait, I hit the wrong button. Why isn't it going? Uh-oh. Not good.
This is a guy who's already won. He won in 2016. He won even bigger in 2020. All that January 6th was a staged riot to cover up the.
He didn't win big in 2016, and he lost. He lost the popular vote both times, and the Electoral College the second time. Unfortunately, the first time he lost and pulled out some kind of like royal flush. But it was a squeaker. But the lies, they never stop. They never effing stop. And they're always the victim. They're not the perpetrator. They're lies. They just keep going with the lies and telling their dumbasses that they've been that it's liberals and Democrats and normal people who are attacking them and stealing from them and turning their country into blah, blah. When these people they have no respect for this country. They want their morons to turn into terrorists, domestic terrorists. They're the ones sitting in jail now. But they won't stop. They want to get people killed. They want to incite their fellow Americans. They want to steal their serenity. They want to turn them into racist morons. That's why you will never hear a Republican ask or encourage those who follow them to stop being racist. I mean, what does that take? If you're a leader, what does it take to lead and tell people, or just lead by example? Stop being racist. Just stop. We have to live in this country. This is a diverse nation of immigrants. We all need to live together, and being a dick isn't helping. Being a racist asshole is not your American birthright, where you should be worried about universal health care, higher education, living wages, leaving no one behind. But their birthright is being drunk and hitting someone who has an accent and then berating them, speak English. It's so tedious having to share the same country with these albatrosses.
Fact that they certified a fraudulent election. And
That's January 6th,
I agree with a lot
right.
of what Cash said about impeachment. If we just go back and deal with this fraudulent election.
Are you kidding me?
And what happened in 2020, we don't have to impeach him because he really isn't, in my opinion, and many others, and you look at the evidence, the true president. We just can, why don't we decertify 2020? And that's the way we deal.
It's incredible. Yes, so her advice is to decertify the election and put Trump in, despite receiving fewer votes, despite the fact that he lost. Keep lying, Carrie Lake, because you're what? You're a patriot? You keep lying? You're a patriot. That's what you do. You keep lying and taking your lies and pouring it into the empty heads of your moron followers who are committing acts of domestic terrorism all over the country. Assaulting people, calling up representatives, threatening them. This is the kind of country. They've always been like this. It's always conservatives. Please show me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I mean, yeah, it's not that liberals haven't done things, in the country. Like, I guess it's kind of before my time. I'm thinking about like the Weathermen and things like that back in the 60s. But you don't really see that now. You don't see liberals taking cars and driving them through crowds like conservatives do. You don't see liberals storming the Capitol, right? Oh, I know there was some thing. What happened at the... because according to Republicans, cities are still smoldering because of Black Lives Matter protests, and that's absolute bullshit. That is just absolute bullshit. Many of the Black Lives Matter protests that got out of hand, the people like the Proud Pricks, they were arrested committing acts of domestic terrorism while crying things like justice for George Floyd. But that won't stop Republicans from spreading the lie. That's what they think. They really do think that Seattle is in a smoldering ruin, or Portland. Right? Unreal. The violence on January 6th, it was all made up. You didn't see any. It was peaceful. It was a peaceful protest, according to Republicans. But they keep on lying. Here's some more lies. Let's see. So, the other thing. I don't even know where is this? Sarah Palin came out of the Belfry to join in the fray of of the lies. Join the din, let's say. And she's another one. Everyone, they're all getting in front of cameras, crying about Trump. It's incredible. So here's what she was on Kimberly Gargoyle's show, and of course she is lying. Oh, well, first let's play this one. This is before she was on. She's making all the rounds. She was on Newsmax. She's on all these right-wing channels. Half of these people I don't even know who the hell they are, but of course they're being funded by billionaires. None of them have to say please become a patron, but okay.
Speaking on behalf of the average American, we understand what's going on.
You're the average American? You're the average American, Sarah, really. If there were no Sarah Palin, there would be no Trump today. This is another reason we talked about it before. Republicans, they hate this country. They put this bitch one heartbeat away, one 78-year-old cancer survivor's heartbeat away from the presidency. This unfit, I don't even know, this unfit clown who quit her government job to go on a reality show. That's what she did. She left, she cut and ran from her service to get a show on reality TV. That's all it's about for them. They're clowns. It's such a disgrace, the way that they denigrate this country. What would the founders say? With Sarah Palin on The Masked Singer. Remember the Sarah Palin reality show? Where she murdered a deer. No, a moose, not a deer. She shot a moose and then she danced. She was so happy. She killed something. And she was giddy. Then she was slicing it up. It was like a snuff film. She was dancing. She had the knife. I mean, they're such disgusting ghouls. That's supposed to be tough. You see, taking a life is a great hobby. They all do it. They all love murdering lovely and beautiful animals that bring more value and beauty to Earth, and because they got to take beauty away. They see something beautiful, they have to murder it. And the moose was murdered so Sarah Palin can look like she's I don't even know, like tough on her reality show. That poor moose. It's like the poor cows that ended up as Trump steaks. Jesus Christ. Is there anything worse? But here's Sarah. What is this one? She's all pissed off about about accountability. Because accountability is for Democrats, Not for grifters and fake billionaires with a fake university and a vitamin scam. Hi, Booty. What are you doing?
Speaking on behalf of the average American, we understand what's going on. We do see that it's only in third world countries where tyrants control would a political opponent be jailed, the attempt to jail. And that's what's going on today.
That's not what's going on. You see it?
No, it bolsters support for the victim in this. And Trump is the victim.
Can you believe that? Trump is the victim.
For Governor Sarah Palin, can I be your hype man?
Oh my God. You see how embarrassing it is?
You get sprung. Oh, baby.
I can't. I'm like speechless. This is who they are.
With the stars. Next, he has braved some of the most perilous situations in the world.
Yes.
But now his most intimidating
being a filthy fascist, Joseph Goebbels.
On national television.
Their approach, so he hinted.
Dancing the cha-cha-cha, Tucker Carlson and his partner Elena Grinyenko.
I'm just reminding you all that Democrats don't do this. Show me a VP candidate of the Democratic Party doing this on or being on a reality show. They don't do it. What an embarrassment. Here's Rick Perry, remember? It's like crazy. They have no decency. They have no dignity. It's all about the spotlight, attention. They will sell their mothers out for money. They'll sell this country out. Could you imagine? It's like Caligula. Was that the one? Oh, no, it's escaping me. The Roman emperor who played, that was not Caligula. That was Commodus, who became a gladiator. It's kind of like that. But also, was it Caligula? No, it was Nero, who was an actor and would make everybody go to his performances at the time when being an actor was akin to being a prostitute. And that's what they are. This is what that is akin to what we're looking at. It's akin to watching, well, it must be what the Romans felt like watching Commodus become a gladiator.
I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
The chores.
The stars.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, city life.
Green Acres, we are there. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise. And
it's Sean Spicer.
To my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash.
I'm sorry. I know we're going down memory lane. It's incredible. But what do we expect? Here, you want to here's some more things to be sick over. Here's some more Sarah Palin. She's on Kimberly Gargoyle's show.
This is injustice. Never before has any president, any elected official been so condemned for expressing opinion, much less indicted for expressing opinion.
See, there they go again. The lie that Trump is indicted for his opinions, his filthy lies. No, that's not. Read the indictment, but, that would take it being intellectually curious.
As Donald Trump did. Why are people forgetting that his speech on January 6th, it was so clear. He was asking people
to
go ahead and march to the Capitol, but be peaceful. We're the party of law and order.
No, he wasn't.
And then the mainstream media, Kimberly, as we've seen, they keep editing that out. That censorship
editing that out. He said it once.
Does not bode well for the state. And
he said it once, so he would have plausible deniability. That's why he said it. He said it one time. You got to fight like hell. It's all laid out in the indictment, and they time it where Trump's conspiring with his co-conspirators, the Giuliani and Eastman and all the other traitors, behind the scenes. And then they pull out Trump's tweets because they were going to use violence, the calls for violence, when their fake electors scheme wasn't working. They had that in their pockets. Then they went to violence. They thought, well, the violence is going to slow this down and give them time. And that night of January 6th, that's when the co-conspirator Traitor Giuliani called all these Republicans, telling them to put a pin in it, pause, it's just too chaotic today, and everybody, let's take a breath so we can go to take it back to the states. And this is so they had more time to bring their coup across the finish line, to send it back to the states. And then they would use the power, and then also with the violence. I mean, they were using violence. They created the violence to exploit it. And yes, he tweeted it. And Jack Smith, in the indictment, they have it lined up. So right after they were discussing what they were going to do to slow down the acceptance of, or what VP Pence was going to do with his ceremonial role on January 6th, to certify the votes, just bang the gavel and accept the will of the people. And that simultaneously, after the meeting of all the traitors and the co-conspirators, Trump tweeted the famous tweet, "See you in D.C., it will be wild." And all throughout, he kept inciting the mob against Pence, saying Pence didn't have the courage to do what he was supposed to do. This is what happens when a sacred election is stolen. They knew it wasn't stolen. Which is, they're just sick. They're sick people. They want power. They hate America. There's no difference between them and the Confederates who fired on Fort Sumter. That is the truth. And this is the same. If we allow them to succeed, the government of, by, and for the people is over. They're putting together an intergenerational aristocracy. They always have been. I've been pointing this out for years. Trump just put the pedal to the metal on it. All their policies are to restore the kind of system and society that the founders overthrew. From child labor laws to intergenerational aristocracy. The founding generation, they understood the dangers of aristocracy. And that's one of the things what we were discussing earlier about the fetus of monarchy that was inherent in the presidency. And, oh, here comes Booty. The intergenerational aristocracy, they understood that they didn't want to create another intergenerational aristocracy here. And that was the fear of the founders, that, why fight a revolution to overthrow an aristocracy and monarchy, to simply recreate one here? Why would you do that? That's kind of dumb. Why waste all that time and blood? But the founders were students of the liberal age of enlightenment. That's the grand experiment. What the hell else would it be to these freaks, right? Oh, freedom. This is what's so annoying about Republicans. What is America all about? What are you doing? Freedom. The freedom of what? Freedom to say the N-word. That's it. Freedom to hate. freedom to say, speak English. And you have no other freedoms. You don't have the freedom to get an education. You don't have the freedom to take a vacation. You don't have the freedom to go to a doctor. What freedom are you talking about? Well, it's all, unless you're rich. You know, the rich can do anything. The rest of us have to settle for the freedom to be ugly and racist. That's wonderful. The freedom to hate on others who are different. Trans people. I literally saw another thing today, and I didn't grab it. I think that was probably too much for all of us. It was Perjury Trader Green. She likes making videos when she's in the gym. I don't know why. There's something about she'll just stop and do a video. And she was talking about how it was a travesty, about, you know, Trump's indictment, another indictment. And meanwhile, all they're trying to do is save America from trans women in sport. No, well, of course they say men in sports. Like, these are problems. These are problems for these effing scumbags. Not health care, not education, not living wages. No, roll back child labor laws and hate on trans people. So when you go to the bathroom, now you see there's TikTok videos of women, or cis women too, being assaulted by these Trumpanzees, calling security if they don't look feminine enough. This is what the Republicans do. They never bring anything decent to society. Please prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I want them to not be so useless. Right? And thank you, Pookie's mommy, Irene. Happy 3rd arraignment day. Tarabuster, may the 4th be with us soon. Yes. Oh, that's right. The 4th is coming. That's Georgia. Yeah, the one. I want. Give me a break. All I need is 11,000 votes. Because we won the state. Right? That's what he does. He's a goddamn mobster. Because we won the state peacefully. I want you to be peaceful. Yeah, right. And I'll be there with you. You gotta fight like hell. Peaceful. That's why he wanted the magnetometers taken down. Well, they're not here for me. Even though there were these goddamn traitors with assault weapons. Well, they're not going to hurt me. That's what Trump said. Take the mags down. Let them in with the guns. With their assault weapons. Who brings bear spray, zip ties, cattle prods, and has assault weapons waiting in the wings at a peaceful protest? He said peaceful. He said it. Well, then what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you bring zip ties? Traitors, why did you bring bear spray? Why'd you bring cattle prods? Why did you start beating cops with flags? And why did you shave or sharpen flagpoles into spears? We have videos of that too. One of these scumbags walking, going, "Heh heh heh, look what I did." Showing it off. I shaved this down into a spear. So you can, what, stab somebody? I guess, obviously. But why? It's peaceful. I don't know about you. I've been to a lot of protests in my life. I've been to protests where people got arrested. But they got arrested for peaceful protests, nonviolent civil disobedience. There were no sharpened flagpoles. No one was like, okay, let's get the sharpened flagpoles. We didn't all meet and say, you got the sharpened flagpoles? You got the spears? Who's got the bear spray? Who's got the zip ties? Who's gonna build the gallows? I've been to many protests. I've never had one person say, hey, can I get some of that bear spray? Right, exactly. Haiku on the chat. The FBI made us do it because we're all lemmings. That's the other thing. They talk about that, what's that? Roy Epps. Oh, it was all Roy Epps' fault. Some dumb bastard who's like, we got to go into the Capitol. And they're like, Fed. So it means that it's all Roy Epps. If Roy Epps tells you to jump off a building, is that what you do? I thought it was Antifa. Exactly. Right. Roy Epps under the direct orders from Antifa, from the Antifa general, Jim says on the chat. Exactly. Fed. What are you doing then? It's all it takes is one asshole to say, we got to go into the Capitol. And then thousands of you dumb bastard lemmings converge on the Capitol with your bear spray, zip ties, and cattle prods and start ripping shields out of the hands of cops and beating them with it and dragging the cops down the stairs and saying, get his gun. All it took was one guy, Roy Epps, to say, hey, we got to go in. That's how dumb you are? Well, I guess so. I don't know why I'm asking. You have to be stupid to be a Republican at this moment in time. That is the truth. The only redeemable quality for the Republican Party is for them to go into history's trash pile quickly. I mean, that's the redeemable quality of Trump, I should say, is that he's speeding up the inevitable. He's dragging them down into history's trash pile. What he did was expose just how useless the Republican Party really is. They've always been this way. I've been saying this for years. They bring nothing to the table. They hate America. They hate democracy. They're not sincere partners in democracy. But Trump just put it on steroids. Well, let's continue with Gargoyle and the Masked Singer. I mean, that's what I'm saying. These people have no decency. They have no dignity. No dignity. I mean, it's like, and I've told you before, when I was in the National Guard and you're in uniform, not that anybody had to tell me this, but they would say, your higher ups would say, when you're in uniform, behave yourself. Somebody had to tell me that because I know how to behave. But you're the ambassadors for this country. You have that flag on your shoulder. You behave yourself in public. You act respectful. You act like you're worthy to wear that uniform. You don't want to disgrace the military. You don't want to disgrace your fellow soldiers. You don't want to disgrace your unit. You don't want to disgrace the country wearing that uniform and acting like an asshole. And when I watch people like Sarah Palin, they're disgraceful. They act, it's not, they don't even have to be in the damn Masked Singer to disgrace the country, but that's bad enough. That's the VP candidate. That was the VP candidate of one of the major political parties in this country. One of the two major political parties, which is a disgrace. And what do you think the founders, these people that are always like, I wear my, well, we played another video, I remember, of these traitors going, oh no, it was Tucker Carlson saying how we're the ones that wear that or have the pocket constitutions. For what? Why? Why are you carrying around a pocket constitution? So you could rip the pages out and wipe your ass? When you're taking a dump in the Capitol? In the halls of the Capitol. But, I mean, these people, they think, who, like, when they called her up and they said, you want to be on The Masked Singer? She should have hung up and said, excuse me? I have dignity. I have decency. I'm not going to disgrace the United States. I was the VP candidate in one of the two major political parties. These stupid dumb bastards put me, a dumb bastard, one 78-year-old cancer survivor's heartbeat away from the presidency. And now you want me to disgrace the country and on the world stage by being on The Masked Singer and acting like a fool? It's an abomination. Think of any world leader that does that. Parody on the chat. Rug shitting is an art form, Tara. How dare you? For Republicans, I mean, these people think that dancing on The Masked Singer is an art form. Sorry, right? Can you believe this?
Take your average American and ask her that. You're back. So let it go. Boyfriend got the butt. Shake it. Shake the healthy butt.
Is that supposed to humanize them or something? I don't get it. It only cheapens. It just cheapens America. That's what it does. It makes a mockery out of the system that so many people died for. You want to be a reality TV star? Be a reality TV star. Stay in your lane, you dumb bitch. No one wants you to run for office. No one wants you to... I mean, you're not fit. And you're not emotionally, mentally fit. They want all these clowns in office. Well, look at their standard bearer. This is what I'm saying. Say all you will about the Democrats, but come on, this never happens. You never have a They would never do that. And if they did, if there were a Democrat that degraded themselves like this, they would be a pariah in the party. They wouldn't be like, oh, let's get Sarah Palin. And no one would vote for them. People, I mean, now she was trying to run for office again, Sarah Palin, and then she lost. And, of course, what did she do when she lost? Because it's the new thing that Republicans do. Oh, the voting. It's the voting. She was robbed. Everybody's robbed. Whenever you lost, you're robbed. It's not you. It's democracy. Right? It's not that you suck. It's that people have too much democracy. It's too much freedom. It's too much easy access to the polls. That's what they're all upset about. You understand, with the election, because that's why it's stolen, because they don't want you to count the votes. So, it's all stolen because Democrats voted on, a lot of Democrats voted mail-in, which used to be the Republican thing. And then they say, oh, you can't do that. You can't vote mail-in. They used the pandemic as a ruse. Bullshit. Oh, here's Lauren effin Boebert. You know, that constitutional scholar telling us how it all works.
We were doing our role. We were not rubber stamping states that we saw massive irregularities in the vote.
Bullshit. You see? They never let a lie go. Doesn't matter how many. This is why they suck and they need to be in history's trash pile without apology, because it doesn't matter how many times you take their asses to court, or they go to court and they get schooled, or you say, where? Show us the proof. And they have nothing. It doesn't matter how many times their phony lawsuits get dismissed with prejudice. They will never stop lying. We saw massive irregularities. Where? Where, you dumb bitch? Where? You had 61 court cases to show us. You didn't see shit. But it doesn't matter. You'll just keep saying it, right? You saw massive irregularities. What? Oh, dead people voting. Dead people voting and people voting twice, and then people voting in one state and then driving to another state. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And that's in the indictment too. They have nothing, but they will never stop lying. So constitutional scholar Lauren Band from the bowling alley Boebert is going to school us? We saw massive irregularities. Bullshit. I'm so sick of these people. You saw nothing. You saw your power slipping away. And for whatever reason, you have the inability to function in a democracy. And you're lazy. You can't get your shit together. Knock on doors. Get people to vote for you. Say, oh shit, we fucking lost that one. Well, how do we win the next one? We better organize. Let's go around and talk to people. Say, oh, well, we Republicans, we have so much to offer you. We want to govern because we want to make what? Well, what do you want to do? Because they have nothing. You want to make sure that trans people don't exist. Oh, we get it. You don't want people to read certain books. That's the other thing. What are you going to do about, the kitchen table issues? What? Like trans people going to the bathroom? Fucking unreal, these people. I'm so sick of them. And that's what I'm saying. Enough with them. Shame on you if you vote for them. Right, Junior? Here comes Tara Jr. Shame on you. There's nothing else to say except you are a disgrace. That's who you vote for? These liars? You hate trans people that much? Guess what? Don't be trans then. Shut your mouth. Live and let live. Do what you do. Do you. You do you, dummies. Just you do you. Leave people alone. Stop talking about things you know nothing about. I heard... Who's that guy? Now I'm mispronouncing his name. He's one of these fucking Republicans who wants to be president. Yeah, right. Okay. What's his name? Vivek Ramaswamy. I can't. What is his name? Let's see. Presidential Republican candidates. Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah, that's not too hard. Vivek Ramaswamy. He's an asshole. He, of course, is an anti-trans, anti-gay. They're all talking about trans people like, oh, we're just protecting the children. We just don't want children to be genitally mutilated. And nobody's mutilating anybody's fucking genitals, you dumb bastard. And if you got to get a tattoo when you're over 18, why should you be able to get gender affirming care? Like, these people don't know shit about other people's lives, but they want to inject their big Republican noses into people's lives so they make their lives harder. Well, the fact is, if a trans young person has a supportive family that knows the child or the young person, and Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't know the fucking family. He doesn't know shit about trans people. Why don't he shut his Republican face and keep his big government Republican nose out of the family's business? But they can't do that. They have to pretend they're offering something. But I heard him on the David Pakman show. David Pakman was interviewing this guy, and it was pissing me off because he wasn't pushing back on him. And he was saying all this bullshit, which is what they do. And he was saying that, we just don't want children to get gender affirming care, because what do you know about these children? First of all, nobody is doing anything that these Republicans are saying. It's another example of how they waste everybody's time all the time. Just like another show recently, we were talking about how back in the day, they went on about how they were going to ban teleprompters. They don't know shit, these Republicans. They waste everybody's time. But now they're talking about trans youth who knows better than the parents and the family of the trans youth and the doctors who know what the fuck they're doing. Not Vivek Ramaswamy, who says that he wants to block trans people from getting gender affirming care until they turn 21. Because he wants to make people's lives harder. Because if you're trans and you're a young person, you're self-aware and you have a supportive family, and you are able to get gender affirming care before you hit puberty, then you'll have an easier time in life. In general, because of you'll be able to pass. So when you go into a bathroom, a filthy fascist Republican won't be like, let me see your pee-pee your whole life. But this is what these people are doing. They want trans people to not just not exist. They want them to kill themselves or something. But they know nothing about other people's lives. They just don't know how to shut up and mind their own business and do the business of government. You got any plans to make a living wages to raise the standard of living of the American family? They got all they do is complain. They complain about inflation. They did nothing, not one thing. Not one bill targeting trans people did anything about inflation. But they stand in the way when Democrats pass bills, right? The Inflation Reduction Act, which is actually reducing inflation. And then they take credit for it. I wish I was wrong here, you know what I mean? I do. I want them not to be ugly fascists who target less than 1% of the population because they're easy to pick on. Because they're bullies. I want them to be partners in democracy. But they're not. As we could see right here with Lauren Boebert, again, lying. We saw massive irregularities. You didn't see a goddamn thing because you can't see what isn't there. Even though I know these people are the ones that they see a sky spook that tells them to hate people. But they don't see voter irregularities. I see voting irregularities coming out of the villages. That's for sure. You know, the Republicans are the ones. I see them voting twice, voting with their dead wife's name. They're the ones that are requesting ballots of dead people and sending it in. And then they get caught. Because there are consequences to voter fraud. Which is why it's not a thing. Nobody does it. Nobody goddamn does it. And it certainly doesn't exist in the manner, in the numbers required to change the outcome of an election. Nobody does that. Nobody votes in a town, one town, then they drive to another state and vote. And then they say that, oh, it's the illegals come to vote. They vote in because that's why Joe Biden wants all the illegals to come in, even though border crossings are down 70%. Because guess what? The Democrats are actually governing, and Kamala Harris, and who was they were all like, oh, where's Kamala? Where's Kamala? Remember that dumb bitch Ashley Babbitt? Huh? Where's Kamala? Well, she, this is why, you know, there's reasons why people migrate or seek asylum. There's the push factors and the pull factors, right? And that's throughout, in all immigration. So the push factors would be, let's say, violent gangs kidnapping your children and forcing them into prostitution or into becoming sicarios for their drug cartels, right? So then you would take your family and cross a desert. Yeah, nobody wants to, they don't get up one day and say, fuck it, let's go. Let me take this baby and pregnant wife of mine and walk across a desert to this country where Lauren fucking Boebert is a congresswoman, even though she can't pass the GED, and go to her local bowling alley because her husband exposed his penis to underage girls. Yeah, really? So VP Harris worked with the different places or the different countries and locations where there were exacerbated push factors, and worked on the economy, got different American corporations to start building their, opening offices and facilities in these places so there would be jobs and shit so people could stay. They wanted to stay. And there's, I don't know the entire method that she employed, but I know that's one of them. And guess what? Even though this title, whatever, went away and Republicans were like, brace yourself, the crossings of the border are down 70%. But Republicans, they get a lot of bang for their buck, vilifying migrants and asylum seekers. So now they're killing asylum seekers by putting medieval traps in the water and making women drown and babies drown and women have miscarriages because Republicans are, a party of life and shit. You see, they're simply not sincere partners. So how do you even have a relationship? It's like any relationship. You have to have two, or more, if you have a group of friends, you have to be all in. You have to have a common goal. And what do Republicans, what's their goal? Oh, Junior, he just fell. All right, don't blame it on me. You fell. I mean, all right, stop yelling at me. Don't blame it on me. But they're not sincere partners. Look at them. They're still lying. They just continue to lie. Hey, enough of that.
Where tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of ballots were mailed out illegally. It is illegal for states to change election laws.
No, it's not, you dumb bitch. Constitutional scholar Lauren banned from the bowling alley Bobert, who never took a college course. She's a GED failure. She took the GED and failed it 3 times.
It's something, for the federal government to change election laws, or secretaries of state, or rogue judges.
Rogue.
It is up to the
just
state.
Say words. Just keep saying words. Rogue judges and trans women in sports. Trans men in the bathroom. Say things like that. Just say a bunch of words. Trigger words. Irregularities. Say irregularities again. That gets them. There were a lot of irregularities because you don't have to you don't have to pinpoint it. You don't have to give specifics. This is why I hate we talk about it before. I just hate, in general, corporate media. Never ask. They never ask. Oh, it's irregularities. What irregularities? Where? You got examples? Because I know you went to court over 61 times, and some of those, they were all left out of court every single time. And then some of these court cases were dismissed with prejudice, which is the legal same as saying, get the fuck out of here with this. Right, Jim on the chat. Say radical liberals again. Exactly. It's all, rogue judges, radical liberals, radical Black Lives Matter, trans people, women in sport, men in women's sports, books, banning books, gender affirming care, CRT, irregularities. Say irregularities. That gets them. Because you don't have to say, there's many irregulars. There's a lot of irregularities happening. I guess that's what happened in the Capitol. There were a lot of irregularities in the hall that had to be cleaned up. Poo-poo, as Nancy Pelosi put it. Poo-poo and pee-pee. Irregular. They were irregular. They felt irregular. What patriot takes a shit in the halls of the Capitol? Of course they did it. That's what they had to be cleaned up. That's what happened. They had to take a shit, and they were like, hang Mike Pence, and everything was shut. Everything was closed. They were like, oh, hey, look over here. Of course, they peed. And they pooped. Because they have no dignity. They have no decency. They have no integrity. It's the equivalent of this.
The fools all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster march was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. It's now the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool, Drax a part of the band, and my Monster Mash is...
What about this one?
When the road looks rough ahead and your mind's from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. You got a friend in me. Some other folks may be a little bit smarter than I am, big and stronger too. Ha! But none of them will ever love you the way I do. And as the years go by, a friendship will never die. We're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Photographs of the inaugural proceedings were intentionally framed in a way, in one particular tweet, to minimize the enormous support that had gathered on the National Mall. This was the first time in our nation's history that floor coverings have been used to protect the grass in the mall.
See? Lies.
That had the effect of
This was the
highlighting
first
any areas where people
week.
were not standing, while in years past, the grass eliminated this visual. This was also the first time that fencing and magnetometers went as far back on the wall, preventing hundreds of thousands of people from being able to access the mall as quickly as they had in inaugurations past. Inaccurate numbers involving crowd size were also tweeted. No one had numbers.
This was the
because
first
the National
week.
Park Service,
The
which
first
controls the National Mall,
press
does not
conference.
put any out. This was the
this
largest
dumb
audience
bastard.
to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around.
Get more angry. Be more. Why don't they ever get angry about the fact that 35,000 Americans needlessly die without health care? Never. I never see the same outrage.
To ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the
wanna-
globe. Even the New York Times printed a photograph showing that a misrepresentation of the crowd in the original tweet.
Look at this shit.
In their paper, which showed the full extent of the support, depth, and crowd and intensity that existed.
Incredible.
These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
Here's Sean Spicer.
Hey, it's Monday. Need your votes tonight to keep going. Thank you so much so far.
Cheating.
You can vote tonight 20 times. 10 times text Sean
You know,
to
own the lips.
21523. Keep hitting send. Just type Sean over and over again. Hit send until
Just
it tells
vote.
you you've maxed that at 10.
Illegally.
You get another 10 votes by going to abc.com. Make sure that you cast your votes while the show is live on the East Coast between 8 and 10
doesn't matter
p.m.
if you earn
If you're
it.
in Central Time, that's 7 to 9. Mountain, 6
Just
to 8.
vote
Here on the West
numerous
Coast, 5 to
times,
7.
like they do in the
Don't wait for the
villages.
show to come on live if you're in the Mountain or Pacific Time. Vote between
Who cares
8 and 10
if you
Eastern
receive the
time.
most votes?
Those are the only
or
votes
even
that count.
win.
So please do that tonight. I'm doing a Paso Doble. I'm dancing third. Paso Doble translated means very, very hard dance. Thanks for your support. I look forward to going forward.
Very, very hard dance. Spice up your life. With booty. Booty go. Scooby-Doo-Doo, where is my booty? Scooby-Doo-Doo. 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 I'm sorry, why am I doing this to you? I don't know. Where's my little booty? Ba, beep, ba, ha, ha. Oh my God. You see it? Imagine Barack Obama doing that. Or anyone. Just imagine anyone. Like when, what's her name? When she left, the press secretary. You know, the one that just got a new show. You know, she goes on and she does a show on MSNBC. You would never see her on the Dancing with the Stars. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Ba, beep, ba, bo, ba. Where is... Yeah.
We were doing our or excuse me, for the federal government to change election laws, or secretaries of state, or rogue judges. It is up to the state legislature.
Liberal, latte liberal, and bunch of CRT. What's the other one they always say? Loony libs or radical liberals. Yes, that's right. Radical liberal. The squad. Commies. A bunch of commies.
And that did not happen. And so we objected to several states.
Yeah, we objected, even though I was my first time being a representative, despite winning by a squeaker. And I didn't even, I was sworn in. I had to take the GED lickety fast as you could say. Look at my husband's penis, you underage girls in the bowling alley, because I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't even have a high school diploma, but I took the GED and I failed it 3 times, but I finally passed it. And then they put me in, and here I am making a fucking joke. I'm making a mockery out of anyone who ever died for this country with my filth and my lies. And here I am telling you all about how the Constitution works, because a con man who lost the vote, not only did he lose the popular vote twice, he lost the Electoral College, and he's not man enough to admit it. And so we don't want to let go of power, because we've fought too hard to get this close to slamming democracy into against the wall, or drowning it in a bathtub like we've always wanted to do, because that's what you do when you're a patriot. You just drown it in a bathtub. You take the country that the founders, or the government the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us, and the government that so many patriots fought, bled, and died to protect, like the patriots who stormed the beaches of Normandy and gave their lives, or the patriots who left their last measure of devotion on the battlefield of Gettysburg and Shiloh and the wilderness. And so they died for this con man who wants to make this country great again by turning it into turning it into Putin's playground. Giving Putin. He likes Putin. He wants everybody to stand up at attention when he walks like Putin, and they want Kim Jong-un, who's a smart cookie. So I'm telling you, there's irregularities everywhere. A lot of irregularities that happened in the vote, even though we can't prove it. When we have to prove it in a court of law. I mean, we could prove it on Fox News or on Stitchfield Tonight or on Newsmax and all these other fascist propaganda outlets. We could prove it all day. We just keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. And then you morons eat it up like you're like baby birds opening their mouths and putting in the poison. So, and you're dumb anyway. So, like me, because it took 4 times to pass the GED. I mean, look, come on. I'm somebody that opened up a restaurant, and I couldn't help but poison my neighbors. So that's because it's too much big government telling everybody to wash their hands or to keep meat at a certain temperature. That's a lot of big government. So I would rather, it's less money, when you just serve meat at whatever temperature it goes bad at. And who cares? You cook it, you put a lot of sauce on it, and people eat it, and then maybe they have the shits later. But you hope they don't connect it back to your poom 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 shooter's grill. But they did that one time, and I don't know what to say. It's just big government. That's why I hate big government. And there were a lot of irregularities at Shooter's Grill, but that's because of big government. telling us what to do. And it's all the loony libs' fault, and Trump is just trying to make everything great by destroying everything and turning it into the kind of system that not just the founders fought a revolution to escape. He wants to turn the system into like North Korea, because he likes smart. He likes those smart cookies who starve their own people, and he wants everybody to do that. He's actually said that. I have clips of it too, but I'm just Lauren Boebert. What can I say? I am the version of a constitutional scholar. I don't know why I can't just stop. I can't stop. I'm just keep talking. But
states who did exactly that. They changed their state election law, and the Constitution says it's the state legislature that changed.
The Constitution I keep in my pocket. That I told you I can't find. Well, can you find it? I don't know. There's a lot of irregularities there, but just believe me. Believe me, like when I say they're coming after him for his freedom of speech. Believe me, even though it says right there that he can tell as many lies as wants to come out of his fat, disgusting, gaping wound of a hole in his face. But just keep believing me, whatever we say, because you're as dumb as us, and we want you to be free to say the N-word. And when you hit somebody, when you're drunk driving, you hit them from behind. We want you to be able to be like, you dumb, and then you say a racial slur, and to speak English at them, and then act like a victim. So, because that's what we want you to be to your neighbors. We want you to bring that to your community. The ugliness and hatefulness and smallness, the puniness of being a Republican in a multiracial democratic republic, a nation of immigrants where you hate immigrants. It is tough for us. But there's a lot of irregularities there.
Those, and that is why we objected. There was nothing illegal, certainly nothing for President Trump to be indicted over. But
certainly nothing. Not that I would know, since Jack Smith is only a world-renowned prosecutor who's went after the world's most disgusting war criminals. But I'm Lauren Band from the Bowling Alley Boebert, who can't open up a restaurant without giving my neighbors the shits. But who are you going to believe? Me, who also hates trans people, or a patriot who, or a radical kook psycho like Jack Smith, who actually abides by the rule of law.
I hope he uses this indictment to go to each and every state that we had in question and finally fix our elections and secure.
Will he finally fix it and go to every state? Even though that's what he did. He was in every state. That's why he got laughed out of these states. 61 lawsuits, the little one. Try to keep up. I know you only got 10 fingers and 10 toes, but I'm telling you, that's a lot of fingers and toes. 61. Oh God, I hate them. Yeah, she never read. Right, haiku on the chat. She read certainly nothing. She never read the damn thing. The way that they speak, that's the other thing. They go fast. They all speak very fast too. So you're gonna be like, irregularities, like Lauren Boebert is teaching you about the Constitution, and she's wrong. Irregularities. Finally, I hope he uses this as an opportunity to go to every state. That's what he did. Hey, stupid. I mean, legally and peacefully, stupid. You he went to those states. He was laughed out of those states. That's why you lost the 61 lawsuits when he tried. That's why he had to go to the violence. The violence, the threats, and the lies that never stop. That's what I'm saying. These people, they have no decency. They know he's a liar. But they're all in on it. Is it mass hysteria? Mass psychosis? No, I guess it's... I don't know. I could not fathom it. I can't fathom it. Now, Pence is getting a lot of... He's getting some pats on the back for finally talking to... just saying that Trump is wrong, let's say. But he always... I don't give him any pats on the back. What did it take? Well, it's taken it this far? They should all be... he should have been talking about this years ago. He knows who Trump is. Where is that damn thing? Here's what everybody's playing on corporate media.
Clear on that throughout. I was clear with President Trump throughout, all the way up to the morning.
The other thing is, let me stop. He's not the president. Stop calling him President Trump. That's what I also appreciated about the indictment. All the indictments, but the January 6th one, they don't call him the president. He's not the fucking president. He sucks. He wasn't the president when he was the so-called president. He was a goddamn joke. He's a disgrace to the presidency. If George Washington were here, he'd spit in his face with his rotten teeth. Please. Could you imagine? He hates George Washington. You understand that? Because, George Washington had numerous opportunities to maintain power and keep power. He really is the founder of this country, or the father of the country, because he modeled in a time where this was unheard of. He modeled how to give up power, how to peacefully transfer power, and he did it deliberately, because he was consciously aware of what he was doing. That's why he gave up power after 2 terms. And also when they had the discussions at the Constitutional Convention, he was there to ensure that we maintained ourselves as a republic, as a constitutionally limited democratic republic. And he was, and also the whole, I read it on the thing here too. The Nuremberg conspiracy, where it was George Washington, where the army was going to march on the Congress because the Congress wasn't paying. They didn't pay the military, and the military didn't get paid for years. And they were going to march on Congress and take it over. And George Washington showed up and talked the officers out of their coup against the country, because this is what had happened forever and ever. One of the fears of having a republic or democracy was that a military leader would take over. And that's why George Washington resigned his commission. But he showed up when these officers were going to march on Congress and demand that they were paid. They were going to take over. And he famously gave a speech where he took out his spectacles and he said, It was the first time, apparently, that he had shown frailty, and it touched the men who were there, and they abandoned their coup, where he said, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I've given." What did he say? Let me see. I can't do it justice without quoting it correctly. George Washington, Newburgh, conspiracy. I've given more than my something. Wait, I've given my. Hold on. I know it's in my. I mean, this is the thing. Yeah, it was in my soldier's manual. See? That's what is so interesting to me. When I was in the military, I still have my book that we were supposed to keep on us all the time and read in basic training. Where is it? And it's interesting because these are the stories that are in the book. And that's the tradition that the military wants to instill. The civilian rule or civilian control and the higher principles of what we're trying to do. Yes, George Washington, Newburgh, New York. And wait, what is he? But the quote is what I'm trying to find. Like, yes, here it is. Come on. It'll be worth the wait. Wait a minute. What's going on? Now I'm hearing. Who? I hear somebody. Who is that? Come on, man. Who is that guy? I know him, but it's playing in my ear. Come on. Oh, here it is. It's Brian Tyler Cohen. Went off in my ears. I hit the space bar. It was a YouTube channel that's up. Sorry, guys. This will probably be the last thing we'll talk about tonight. Yes, he said, "Gentlemen, you must pardon me. I've grown old in the service of my country. And now I also find that I'm growing blind." The eyes of most of his audience filled with tears. The content of the letter became irrelevant as the assembled officers realized that George Washington had given much more in the service of the new nation than any of them. Within minutes, the officers voted unanimously to express confidence in the Congress and in their country. Yeah, so they had fought the war, went through Valley Forge. For years, they hadn't been paid. But, George Washington. Trump wants to just wipe his ass with all the sacrifices that were made. It makes me sick. It really makes me sick. But it should make everybody sick. It makes the country sick.
Of January 6th. But let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. So Well, Martha, I just people can read the indictment, and frankly, I've said before, I had hoped it had not come to this point. You know, I don't know if the government can meet the standard, the burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt for criminal charges.
You see, that's why I can't stand him. The people who, I mean, this guy went after him with a mob. He pointed a mob at him that chanted "Hang like Mike Pence" and had built a gallows. But he has to. He can't commit to calling the con man out. He's got to give him an out. These people have no courage. They have no integrity. How long will it be until Mike Pence is on The Masked Singer? I don't put it past him. He came from talk radio, so.
The American people deserve to know that President Trump and his advisors didn't just ask me to pause. They asked me to reject votes, return votes, essentially to overturn the election and to keep faith with the oath that I made to the American people and to Almighty God. I rejected that out of hand, and I did my duty that day.
Well, good for you. I'm glad, but why do you have to constantly muddy the condemnation of Trump's behavior with, I sure do hope that they can prove it, the government can prove it, and I don't think it's good for the country if we hold that wonderful man who received fewer votes and tried to overthrow democracy and pointed a mob at me that wanted to drag me to the gallows. I don't think it's going to be good if we hold that con man accountable. No, it's not. It's not going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be just what the doctor ordered. It's going to be just what we need to survive as a democracy or republic, you know. You know. That's right, Haiku. I didn't think about that. That is true. Children are proud that they did the right thing. Adults treat it as a matter of course. Exactly. That's so true. Like, look what I did. Look at me. Give me a pat on the back. But adults, if you're truly in service, if you're truly doing your job, you just do it. Man. All right, I see the time. We have more show, but we'll get back together tomorrow night at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue. I'm sure more shit's gonna happen between them. Where's Boudica? Booty! She never listens to me, by the way. Booty boo. Only when she wants to. Pardon me. Booty boo. Booty boo. All right. Listen. Jesus Christ. Just in time to lose my voice. See? Devlin. All right. See? It's one of my, it's my memories in here. Being a soldier. As my drill sergeant used to call it. So. Listen up, soul. All right, listen up, soul. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. We will win. And I want to thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for your super chats, Jim and Matt and Pookie's mama, Irene. Thank you guys for your support at Patreon at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. If you can, please become a patron. Also, if you can give the show a good review on iTunes and all that, that helps too. And remember to come back tomorrow night for our regular Friday night get-together. I'm sure it's going to be great and fun. We can't do it without each other. I know I can't do it without you. So, remember, we stick together, we win, and we will win. We will. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And I will see you tomorrow night.